There is a $16 jar of moisturizer sitting on a shelf at your local Target, and there is a $72 jar sitting behind glass at a Sephora counter. Different packaging, different stores, different customers. But here is what nobody at that Sephora counter is going to tell you. The active ingredients inside both jars are made by the same chemists in the same labs using the same patents at the same purity levels. You are not paying for better skincare. You are paying for a logo and a feeling. Hi, my name is Bella, and I am exposing the truth. The skincare industry is projected to hit over $200 in global revenue. A massive chunk of that number is built on a lie. The idea that more expensive automatically means more effective. It does not. The chemistry proves it. Hit that subscribe button because what I am about to show you will save you hundreds of dollars a year. Let us get into it. We're starting with the one that hits hardest: ceramides. Back in 1983, a dermatologist named Dr. Peter Elias published research that fundamentally changed how science understood the skin. He identified that the outer layer of your skin, the part that holds moisture in and keeps irritants out, is built from a structure of fats called ceramides. Without them, your skin barrier breaks down. With them, it heals. That research is the entire foundation of modern moisturizers. The cosmetic industry began synthesizing those ceramides in laboratories, specifically three of them: ceramide NP, ceramide AP, and ceramide EOP. These are standardized ratios that mimic what your skin makes naturally. The patent on this three ceramide complex was licensed out to multiple skincare companies. CeraVe, which sells a $16 tub of moisturizer at every drugstore in America, uses that complex. Tatcha, the luxury Japanese-inspired brand, sells a product called the Dewy Skin Cream for $72. It uses the same three ceramide complex. Same molecules, same ratios, same source. I actually used Tatcha religiously for about a year in my mid-20s. I genuinely believed it was changing my skin. Then I ran out one weekend, grabbed a tub of CeraVe out of my mom's bathroom in a panic, and used it for 2 weeks straight. My skin looked exactly the same. That was the moment this whole rabbit hole started for me. You're paying a $56 premium for a heavier fragrance, a prettier jar, and a story about Japanese geishas. The ceramides don't know which jar they're in. Next ingredient: hyaluronic acid. Probably the single most marketed molecule in skincare history. Here is where it actually came from. In 1934, a researcher at Columbia University, Carl Meyer, isolated hyaluronic acid from the vitreous fluid of cow eyes. That was the original source. Today, nobody is grinding up cow eyes. The entire global supply of cosmetic-grade hyaluronic acid is produced through bacterial fermentation. You take a strain of Streptococcus bacteria, you feed it sugar in a giant industrial vat, and it produces hyaluronic acid as a metabolic byproduct. The wholesale cost of that finished ingredient runs somewhere between $20 to $50 per kilogram. 1 kilogram is enough to make thousands of bottles of serum. Now look at the products on the shelf. CeraVe sells a hyaluronic acid serum for around $12. La Mer, the brand that became famous for its fictional origin story about a NASA scientist, sells something called the Hydrating Infusion for $325. Same molecule, same fermentation process, same global suppliers. The difference between those two bottles is 27 times the price for a molecule that costs the manufacturer pennies to include. Niacinamide, also known as vitamin B3. This one is even more brutal because there is literally no luxury version of this molecule. It does not exist. Niacinamide is one of the most commodity-produced ingredients on Earth. Global production exceeds 40,000 metric tons per year. It is used in vitamins, in food fortification, in animal feed, and yes, in skincare. Every gram of niacinamide that ends up in a cosmetic product is manufactured to United States pharmacopoeia grade. It is a purity standard. There is no extra luxurious, ultra premium version of niacinamide hiding in some boutique laboratory in Switzerland. The Ordinary sells a 5% niacinamide serum for around $7. Drunk Elephant sells a product called B Hydra with the same 5% concentration for $49. SK2, owned by Procter& Gamble, sells the Genoptic serum at $230. I'll be honest with you, I had 3 of these on my shelf at one point: the Ordinary, the Drunk Elephant, and a tester of the SK2 that a friend gave me. I did a side-by-side patch test on each cheek for a month. I could not tell a single difference. Not one. 3 products, 1 molecule, 1 purity standard, and a price spread of over $200. Now, let's talk about retinol, because this is where the marketing gets really sophisticated. Retinol was first approved by the FDA for cosmetic anti-aging use in 1971. That's over 50 years ago. The patent ran out a long, long time ago. And today, retinol is produced as a raw ingredient by massive industrial chemical companies. 2 of the biggest are BASF, which is a German chemical conglomerate, and DSM, which is Dutch. These companies sell retinol to skincare brands at standardized concentrations. The most common is 50% active retinol, which gets diluted down to the final concentration in your bottle. Here is the part that should make you angry. Rock, a drugstore brand you have seen at CVS, sells their retinol correction line for around $25. Augustinus Bader, the German biotech branded luxury line, sells a retinol treatment for $290. The word luxury is part of the price. Both of those products use retinol sourced from the same handful of industrial suppliers. Both products use the same active molecule. The retinol in the cheap one is not weaker. The retinol in the expensive one is not stronger. They are the same compound. What is different? The carrier oils, the fragrance, the packaging, and about $265. Vitamin C is one of the most powerful antioxidants in skincare. It also has one of the most fascinating origin stories. Back in the 1990s, a dermatologist at Duke University named Dr. Sheldon Pennell figured out how to stabilize L-ascorbic acid, the active form of vitamin C, at concentrations of 15 to 20%. Stable enough to put in a serum without it oxidizing into something useless within a week. He patented the formula. That patent became the foundation of a company called SkinCeuticals. SkinCeuticals sells the CE Ferulic serum today for $182. Here's the catch. That patent expired. Once a patent expires, anyone can replicate the formula. And they did. A small brand called Maylove launched a product called the Glow Maker that uses the same 15% L-ascorbic acid, the same vitamin E, the same ferulic acid in the same ratios. Same chemistry, different bottle. The price of the Maylove version? Around $30. I made the switch about 2 years ago. The CE Ferulic was the one luxury serum I genuinely thought I'd never give up. I was wrong. The Maylove sits on my counter now, and I have not looked back. You can pay $152 extra to support the original brand. That's your call. But understand that you are not getting better chemistry. Peptides are short chains of amino acids that signal your skin to produce more collagen. They are one of the most genuinely effective ingredient categories in skincare. The most famous peptide complex is called Matrixyl 3000. It was developed by a French company called Sederma in 2003, and like every other ingredient on this list, that patent eventually expired. Today, Matrixyl 3000 is off patent and produced by a small group of suppliers, mostly based in France and Switzerland. Every skincare brand you've ever heard of sources from those same suppliers. There is no secret peptide farm in Iceland. There is no proprietary peptide blend that only one luxury brand has access to. They all buy from the same vendors. The Ordinary sells a product called Buffet for $15. It contains Matrixyl 3000 at the standard concentration range used across the industry. Perricone MD sells the Deep Crease Serum for $145. Same peptide, same concentration range, same supplier list. The math here is honestly insulting. You're paying nearly 10 times the price for a peptide complex that is functionally identical to a $15 drugstore option. Squalane is one of the most popular moisturizing oils in skincare. Here is a fact that is going to change how you shop for it. Squalane is a single molecule. It is not a blend, it is not a complex. It is one specific hydrocarbon compound. There is no premium version. There is no high-end version. There is just squalane. Historically, the cosmetic industry sourced squalane from shark liver oil. That practice was largely phased out by around 2015 due to environmental pressure and overfishing concerns. Today, almost all cosmetic squalane is derived from olives or sugarcane through fermentation. Once it is purified, it is the same molecule, no matter where it came from. Biosense, owned by Amyris, sells a 100% squalane oil for $32. Indeed Labs sells essentially the same product for around $20. Augustinus Bader includes squalane in their luxury blends that retail for $200 plus. The squalane molecule in all three is identical. It cannot be different. The molecule has no variance. Anyone telling you that their squalane is somehow more refined is selling you marketing language attached to a commodity ingredient. Glycolic acid is the smallest alpha hydroxy acid in cosmetic chemistry. It has a molecular weight of 76 daltons, which means it can penetrate the outer layer of skin more effectively than larger acids. The dermatological use of glycolic acid traces back to the 1970s, when Dr. Eugene Van Scott pioneered research into AHAs used as exfoliants. Today, glycolic acid is produced at massive industrial scale. It is used in textile manufacturing, in cleaning products, and in cosmetics. The cosmetic grade version is just a higher purity standard of the same compound. Pixie sells the Glow Tonic with 7% glycolic acid for around $15. Sunday Riley sells the Good Genes treatment, also marketed around the 7% range, for $80, $88. Both products are using a commodity ingredient at the same active concentration. The performance difference comes down to the supporting ingredients, the pH balancing, and the formulation. The acid itself, the thing actually doing the exfoliation, is identical. You can spend $73 extra on a fancier bottle, or you can buy the 7% version that does the same chemistry. Eye creams, the biggest scam category in skincare, and caffeine is at the center of it. The cosmetic use of caffeine in eye creams really took off in the early 2000s, marketed for its vasoconstrictor effect, which is supposed to reduce the appearance of puffiness. Caffeine is one of the most produced chemical compounds on the planet. The wholesale price for cosmetic-grade caffeine is under $30 per kilogram, pennies per bottle. The Ordinary sells a caffeine solution for around $7. Chanel sells Le Lift eye cream for $115. The caffeine molecule in both products comes from the same global supply chain. There is no boutique caffeine. There is no artisanal caffeine. It is a commodity. The active ingredient in your $7 bottle is chemically equivalent to the active ingredient in the Chanel jar. What you are paying for at Chanel is the interlocking C logo. That is it. Azelaic acid is one of the most underrated skincare ingredients. It treats acne, redness, hyperpigmentation, and rosacea. It was originally approved by the FDA as a prescription drug in 1995. Today, you can buy it over the counter at concentrations up to 10% without a prescription. Paula's Choice sells a 10% azelaic acid booster for around $30.38. Dr. Barbara Sturm, the celebrity-endorsed German luxury line, sells the anti-pollution drops with azelaic acid for $145. Both products source from pharmaceutical-grade azelaic acid suppliers. Both products use the same purity standard. Both do the same thing on your skin. The price gap is $107. The chemistry gap is zero. Here's the takeaway from all of this. The luxury skincare industry has built a multi-billion-dollar empire on a single illusion: the idea that price equals performance. It does not. The active molecules in skincare come from a relatively small number of global suppliers. Those suppliers sell to drugstore brands and to luxury brands alike. The molecules are the same. The patents have largely expired, and the chemistry is settled. What separates a $16 moisturizer from a $300 moisturizer is the packaging, the fragrance, the marketing, and the story you have been told. If this video saved you money, hit the like button. Subscribe for more videos exposing how the products you buy every day are actually made and priced. Let me know in the comments which luxury brand surprised you the most. I'll see you in the next one.